working. We're live.
Are we live?
I think so.
Oh, I think we're live. Are we
Okay.
live? Good. Hey, it's not necessarily not the news. I'm Military Mike, and this is the Senate Comedian, brought to you by producer, the producer,
Big second.
Chris Lowry.
Chris
from the Brush
giant.
Fire Mind.
Brush Fire Mind.
That's not that was. There he is. There he is.
There he is. There is Mr. The Giant with 8 languages. I love it.
All right. So if you didn't notice, we were having a little testicular difficulty.
Were you having performance problems, Mike?
Yeah, really. If you're having performance problems, we have a pill.
I sat on mine.
It's called a 9mm, because we almost shot this bad boy in the face. So, it's been an interesting 3 weeks, everyone, since the last time we had technical difficulties. It's getting to be kind of a thing with us. Hey, listen, I had COVID for the 3rd time. Do you... Jesus. And I'm one of those that fought the vaccination and fought the booster. But
Go sit, lunchbox.
Sorry, yes, sir. He has COVID. I'm scared.
I lived through it. I'm fine. Everything's good. It was relatively mild. I'm tired all the time. I gained weight. My hair turned gray.
You gained weight.
No, not
oh
really.
My God.
So that's not really what happened. But I do get a T-shirt and a free box of donuts, so I'm pretty happy about that. So during our 3-week hiatus, sabbatical, I don't really know what that word means.
Academic.
Yes.
It's when white-collar people go on vacation and don't do shit. It's called Academics Going Wild on sabbatical.
Wait, isn't that called Christmas Exodus? No. Okay, so during my 3 weeks off, what did you do, Scott?
Well, the part I can talk about publicly. See, I went to the library. I read Pericles. Oh, the fun stuff. I went to El Salvador. I went to the Beau Rivage Casino, and I had a lot of fun.
You went to which casino?
Beau Rivage in Biloxi.
I don't speak French, so.
Je ne parle pas le français, monsieur.
No way, you
It's
speak
owned by
French?
just a little,
How do you say just the tip in French?
Hey, now that's your business. I don't talk about another man's private life in Frog. Now, could you imagine though being in the Naval War College for 3 years with a French last name, Mike?
No, I don't think I could ever put that together.
It would be easier if I was opening at the Apollo and I told people it was a benefit for Confederate Heritage Month. I could pull that off better than being a French person in the Naval War College for 3 years.
Being a French person.
It's a true story. Yep.
You make it sound so serious, being a French person. I think the French are generally serious.
So I'm talking about my people in the War College, okay? Once they find out you got a French last name, oh, that's it, baby. You are done.
Oh, yeah. I imagine
He's
they
a
bring
frog.
up,
Who let the frog in the War College?
I imagine they start using like a lot of old innuendos about wartime
War II?
and stuff. Yeah. I never really...
Afghanistan. Drop the rifle.
I was going to say.
Did the French ever invade Afghanistan? I know the British tried.
No, they spent some time
Indochina.
there with us.
They spent some. Oh, okay.
Sometime.
Now there was a. God, I think we used to call it the French whorehouse too. I don't think that's what it was though. But there was a French we called them
Bakery?
FOB. Yeah,
There was a
operating
French
bases.
restaurant.
Yeah, we called it the French whorehouse, I think.
Well, that sounds fun.
We went over there and we would, they had different food. So we'd periodically stop.
They gave you some croissants in a forward operating
some
base.
Croissants. You have to say with the accent. Right?
Je ne parle pas le français, mon chat. It's getting too froggy
Just
up in
the
here.
tip.
Oh my goodness!
Just the tip. In French, please.
Before we killed the frogs, I want to tell you a true story. I was in a friend's penthouse, and many years ago when I
You're
worked
at a French what?
A friend's penthouse. One of them cushy places in Northwest DC near
Ooh,
Embassy
like
Road.
Jason Bond or Barron? No,
Kinda
Jason
like,
Bourne.
Let's just say that the people there, my credit rating was improved being in that upper class environment, okay? So, true story, we're drunk. This is, I don't know, a Thursday or Friday, and we were with the French ambassador, okay?
So this is enough to the weekend.
I kid you not. And we're so drunk that I actually got the French ambassador to assume the French fighting position. I shit you not.
Now, what is the French fighting position? Not that I want to see.
Is my fat head flying off this thing? I said, Your Excellency. And he was so drunk he followed along. Okay, I said, Your Excellency,
He
du, toi, surrender, I surrender. Okay, go ahead. Take it away, Mike.
So,
we got
let's
stories
see.
to do.
We have stories to do.
We got news to talk about.
Sheila is telling me that she's saying I'm watching, but she can't comment. Well, Sheila, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that's the least of our technical worries this evening.
No, it's good when people can comment. Good or bad, the more interaction, the better.
And we'll get there. We'll get there.
You say we will, but I have better luck with calculus and technology, Big Sexy.
We will eventually get to where we have all this ironed out. Now,
I think he's just saying that.
Look, just a little premise, because last time we had a lot of technical difficulties, unlike tonight where we just had a lot of technical
we still have a shitload, but we're live.
Not necessarily not the news. It's not your typical everyday news broadcast. Basically, we take stories from the week, some of them headlines, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Some of them headlines, some of them not. And basically, we don't really report on it as much as we make fun of it. Because my personal feelings on the news these days are we're being fed a line of crap.
That's right.
I don't think they're being completely impartial with the news. And the reason being is I watch news from all over the world almost every day. I watch Al Jazeera. I watch BBC.
BBC.
Look, it's not a good place to be yelling
very
at.
interesting coverage. Yes, I know.
But I do. I watch CNN. I watch NBC. I watch Newsmax. I watch online. What's the OAL? What is that? Online American News?
One American News.
One American News.
One American News.
Yeah, and they're, everybody's got their different take on it.
And Newsmax, of course.
It's Newsmax, of course, yeah. And you know what's really funny about the news these days? I mean, and I'm serious, because if you watch it with intent to understand it, you're going to get miserable. You're literally going to do something bad to yourself.
That's why we started the show.
That's why we started the show, because we joke about everybody. Now, look, you'll probably, as you watch the show week to week, which we hope you will for us, is you'll find out that we have our own little. Me personally, I'm right of center. No. Okay.
I'm shocked.
Imagine that.
The man makes Charlton Heston look like Joan Baez, ladies and gentlemen.
I am a gun owner. Let's just go with that.
He makes me look like Peter, Paul, and Mary. I'm on his side.
And for those of you who don't know, I spent many, many years in the U.S. Army, and I do a lot of other things now to help and assist veterans. So you'll find that my take on it is generally right of center, but there are some things that come from the right that you have to admit are pretty freaking ridiculous.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I think in an attempt to counteract some of the stuff that the left says, the right goes way overboard.
There's some crazies on each side of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And we're not just from Madison, Georgia. We're some damn
of us are
crazies
fancy
out there.
people, too.
Fancy. I like that. That's
fancy.
French. You French. You fancy.
You fancy,
You
big
fancy.
sexy.
You French
You
and
just
fancy.
Positive energy. You fancy, big
Jesus
sexy.
Christ. That's it. No more monsters this late at night. Well, Scott, I understand from our itinerary.
I was about to walk. What the hell is happening?
It got borderline gay there for a second. Can you say that? Can we report? No, we can't say
It's
that.
Pride Month. I can't help it.
It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month.
I can't help it. I'm
Burger
straight,
King
okay?
can make a double top bun.
That's right.
You can talk.
We can't help that we're straight, by the way. That's just the way we were made. So I would ask my
Okay.
alternative friends if they would please accept us for my straight pride lifestyle, because that is the way I was
I'm
made.
going to really throw you for a loop. Get this.
Go for it.
I'm white. I'm a father. I don't have a tattoo.
No.
And I'm straight. For a million
How do you
years,
live with yourself, man? Oh my God! And you served your country.
For a million
And
years,
you're a patriot.
I was 89.3% of the population, and now I
You're
think
2%.
I'm 2% of the population. And look, I got to tell you this before we get into any stories
Okay.
tonight. Over COVID, I started watching regular. I mean, what you do in your bedroom in your own time is
But we've
on
gotten
you.
so far off the rails that we feel You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So, but people
Isn't
are
that
so
crazy?
upset. Yes,
But
you're right.
all the commercials now are two guys
Yes.
that are gay that are kissing, or two
Or
girls
three.
that are gay that are kissing, or transgender, or
And we all
or,
switch places.
A lot of interracial relationships on
course.
TV and stuff like that. And it doesn't bother me. It's
But-
just that it made it so that the June and what was it, Mr. Cleaver?
Pride Month?
They're gone, man. The heterosexual
No, there's no more of
relationship,
that, right.
Yeah, it's gone. It's absolutely.
much.
It doesn't really bother me. I'm just pointing it out. It doesn't
No,
bother me a bit.
it's not
So-
necessarily positive if it brings us towards balkanization.
Right. I mean-
it should be what unites us, not focus on difference that divide us, which is a good segue to our first news story.
Well, I'm telling you what, it's up on you, man. You've got our first story tonight.
Okay.
Scott.
So, do I just read the thing or do I talk about
You've
it?
got the mouse. Now, see, Chris is currently doing something. Our producer is currently doing something on the screen. And so we would actually have to minimize this, right,
No,
Scott?
stop.
Oh. Don't touch nothing. It's bad
Go for
enough.
it.
Okay.
There we go.
So, this is the first news story.
Look, you can scroll down maybe. There you go.
Okay,
You have
okay.
control of the story.
Well, thank you very much.
We're working out our technical issues. We'll get better at this. I
Military
swear.
Mike, aka Big Sexy. So this is my first news story. Affinity graduation celebrations at Harvard. The first one is AAPI graduation. The second one is the Black graduation ceremony. Next is Latinx graduation ceremony. The fourth one is the Lavender LGBTQY plus MOUSE Lavender graduation.
House of Mouse.
So I guess my question is, having come from Rick Ross's mansion Thursday night poolside, it was quite a fun shoot. If more people thought like this, I'd never be on the set, because if you have a Black graduation ceremony and a gay graduation ceremony and a Latin graduation ceremony, what if you're a Hispanic Black guy? What if you're a brother from Dominican Republic and you're gay? Are you supposed to split yourself into three different people? Because I
Do
don't
you
know.
get 3 different certificates?
Exactly. I don't know about you, but I could barely, and my Senate bosses will attest to this, by the way, and my favorite feminist in Maryland, I know you're watching, I could barely, Rabbit, you know this is true, I could barely show up on time for one place, barely. How are you supposed to split yourself into thirds and be in 3 different places at once?
I don't think you can do it.
It's got to be confusing.
I absolutely don't think you can do it.
So, my parents marched for Dr. King. My grandparents risked their lives in World War II so that we could still be a country. And all I'm saying is, the reason why Dave Chappelle gave you the stage name Caucasian Skills is for politically incorrect authenticity. If you have the balls to say it, okay? This is not working out like we planned. Segregation is supposed to be a bad thing, not a good thing. So I don't see how the hell we're coming apart at the seams if you have this little group, that little group. And what if you're a switch hitter? Are you supposed to go to the gay one or the straight one? How are
That
you going
would
to
be
be in
tough.
2 different places at once?
Are we creating more problems?
We're creating more division. That's exactly right.
Yeah, are we creating more problems?
And I'll end this story with this rhetorical question. Does anybody watching, well, is anybody watching? No, is anybody watching remember when we used to all have one graduating class? We
Yeah.
actually used to have a much less divided one graduating class together. Wasn't it amazing?
Now, how long ago did you graduate high school? And
It
if you
was,
didn't, it's okay.
Don't tell anybody. That's supposed to be a secret. It was 1897.
1897.
But the observation is still merit. Okay, the observation is still.
Well,
I graduated high school in 1993.
Okay, my 40-year high school graduation reunion was just a couple weekends ago. I didn't go.
40.
40. I don't look a day over 29.
Guy, you're younger than I thought. Okay, go ahead. That's awesome.
Younger than you thought. That
Yeah.
kind of hurt.
Well, I'm
hurt a
saying
little
you
bit.
look good for your age.
No, it's okay. It's
Oh,
all right.
jeez.
We'll just do this segue. into
Special
the
Forces
next
is getting emotional, ladies and gentlemen. Special Forces. He's becoming emotionally sensitive.
I'm sensitive about these things.
That's it. You look good for your age. It turns into. I can't believe you said.
So that's Harvard too, right?
Yeah,
Didn't,
that was a
correct me
graduation.
if I'm wrong, but didn't Harvard start out as a either Christian or Catholic university?
Yeah, I thought you Catholics were Christian, but I don't write the book on everything.
I think Catholics are Christian.
Yeah, I thought that
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
But
I'm a
it
very
started
tolerant
out-
wasp, Mike. I'm very tolerant wasp.
Will you tell our listening
Thank God.
audience what WASP stands for?
If they don't know what WASP stands for,
Probably
they'll
shouldn't
know it
tell
if they
them.
see my fat waspy ass. We'll just start buzzing around.
All right, so we're
Are we
gonna,
still on this thing? Because it looks like we're
look,
on here.
Chris
but I don't
is,
see that.
Chris is hopping around. He's jumping. We're restreaming here. We're restreaming there. I imagine we're trying to,
All the technology is so new to me. But if we're not there, we're still live.
I hope
You're
so.
still alive. You're
Yeah.
good. Keep
What-
work.
Well,
Just keep
he
working.
said
I don't
keep working.
see it's there. I don't know that we're on live.
Yeah,
we
he
just
said,
went away.
Keep
but-
working.
All right.
And, he yelled at us for like 3 days about using the mouse, and now we have
And
the
now we're
mouse,
using it, and
we-
Mr. the Giant
and
is
now
doing
we're over
something
here.
else.
I think
Don't
we're
touch
paying.
the mouse.
Is
Don't
Chris-
touch it.
I think Chris is paying his taxes. Is that what he said? Logging into the IRS website. Okay, so my story to lead off was about Ikea. Now, do you ever shop at Ikea? They are the master of the flat box.
One time only.
Was
My
it a
friends-
mistake or what?
My friends, aka J Rabbit and J Sizzle, you know who you are. J Rabbit and J Sizzle. They took me to an IKEA, and I got to tell you, I realized why it's better to be single. Every single couple in that room, every man was walking like it was an elephant walk, and the women, every single couple, the man's dragging. Okay, dear. Okay.
How about
dear.
everything looks so amazing?
Every guy there, literally, the wife had his balls in their purse. Okay. It made Ellen Aldo look like Rambo. I've never seen anything so emasculating.
He's Canadian, right?
Their meatballs are great,
So, all right, so
They
get
had the
this.
best meatballs.
Get this. You go in there and everything is beautiful. Of course, you go to buy it, and it, this big bookshelf, German shrunk type thing comes
Nobody
in a
starts
box.
marching.
Comes in a box this big, and it's that tall, and you're like, uh-oh.
It was in German. Guys, people have organization. We don't have order.
Laughing is verboten. All right, so I saw this story and I said, you know what, this is just one of those funny ones. All right, now this is talking about IKEA, all right, and what they're doing now, okay, is during COVID, what they did was they came up with a way, because you got to remember now, look, you're only going to buy so much and you're only going to do so many home do-it-yourself projects. Let's be honest, during COVID. So what they kind of did was they took a new marketing niche and they decided that they're going to help you with baby names.
They're going to help you?
They're going to help you with baby names.
Do they help you make the baby too? Get in there, take over. All right, it's
How do you say
IKEA.
just the tip in French?
Oh my God.
Okay, so it says here that the Scandinavian country registered for birth 56,060 babies last year. All right?
That's a lot of kids.
Almost 3,100 more than 2020.
People must have run
Okay,
out.
so-
People have run out of protection, Mike. Oh my goodness.
Not me, baby. I gave up on the baby making business 4 years ago.
How many kids you got there, Mr.
Four.
Giant? 4. Oh my
so-
goodness.
Enough.
Since he's
That's
since
awesome.
he's over there, I'll just go ahead and say this.
No, it's got
Good. We don't need any more of him.
What? He's brilliant.
Jesus Christ, these biggest 3 guys.
That's okay.
Can you imagine the baby formula for that dude? Jesus, he could be personally responsible for the shortage.
Well, he could be, but I thought it was men could get pregnant. We created the short. I thought we created
How
the
could there
shortage.
be a
Mike.
shortage on baby
Oh
formula?
no,
Just-
I shopped carefully for my wife, so I never bought a single drop of baby formula.
Very
He
good.
shopped carefully.
He's a smart man. He knows what he's doing. I'm glad he
Brandon Lots,
has.
if you're listening, we have another mail order bride.
No, I'm glad he had 4 kids.
Yeah, hey, look who's talking. I'm single and I'm old. I sleep with 2 women, 2 female pit bulls. Okay, so you know what I did in my spare time? Just to let you know how bored I
Went to
can
El Salvador?
be.
No, what you do?
I get so bored during COVID. I actually looked up the top #1 name in Scandinavia for a baby girl.
What was it?
Alice.
Alice, okay.
What do you think, before it even gets close to being a Scandinavian name, you got to go to the 3rd and 4th?
Ahmed, Akbar.
No,
We're
that's
talking about Europe.
no,
though.
that would be Arab, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about Scandinavia.
Are you familiar with the latest immigration in Sweden, my friend?
Good
Not your
point.
father's Oldsmobile.
Good point.
And we don't have to
Just
mention
a tip, Scandinavia. Just a tip.
statistics about what's happened to Sweden and what they're the capital of now and why that's the case.
Well, that could be
But-
why the 4th most popular name is Maja.
The Swiss ambassador admitted some things to me when he got drunk enough on election night about
Wow,
certain
this is
statistics.
a story I'm
Yeah,
going to have to
but-
know more about.
Yeah, it's not pretty. Not really a funny thing, but yeah.
Well, the #5 name is a name I would refer to, something you would see on Vikings. Astrid.
Ooh,
That's pretty cool.
Astrid, like a princess.
Yeah, Astrid.
I like
Isn't
it.
that Hiccup's girlfriend?
And it's also the baby on the show Bull.
I never saw that.
Oh, the guy from NCIS.
My friend is in that show, actually. He might be
Really?
watching us. Yes.
He might be
Now
watching.
that the
It's a great
technology
show,
works.
by the way.
No, he's actually the stunt double for Ice-T. on what is it? Is Law and Order, one of those Law and Order shows?
Yeah, there's
And
one
he
that's
was
been
in
around
Bull.
for like
Yeah.
30 years. Yeah.
But anyways, he's a really cool dude.
Okay, so yeah.
But this technology isn't working, so who knows who's watching?
Well, let's see. Look, we can scroll to the
The
next one.
technology's working, Scott. Show up and do a show.
So,
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's a.
Okay, what's our next? Yes,
the
sir.
Biden administration.
Next
Hang on,
article.
Mike. I tell you what.
I've got him set
Just to
up.
clarify for Scott, why
Yes,
don't you
sir.
take a moment and say hello to some of your viewers that are making comments and talking to you.
Are they talking shit?
Are you sure
Let's
we
see.
have
Scrimsaw Rose.
We have comments?
Highlands Husky.
Steve Rodemeyer, Independent Mary
Rodemeyer.
United. Both my kids are Norwegian.
His
There's
toddler's
people
50 pounds just saying.
on the
Jesus.
Brushfire mind, but it's not on my. Well, anyways, we'll do it.
These
It's
must be
working.
your followers.
Yeah, these are Mr. the Giant's followers.
Well, I don't know this independent IMU.
We don't see that one.
The point is just people interacting, and I'm going to follow your instruction there, Mr. the Giant. We'll move in a forward trajectory to the next news article, which is my friend Jessie Jane Duff. Can I talk about how awesome she is for a
You
second?
can talk about anything you want.
The next clip
The
is
internet is free.
No, it's from a really awesome person. She's a 20-year Marine, and we got to hang out in an event for Veterans Day at the RNC headquarters. And I had just done a show at Broadway Comedy Club in New York City, and someone told me to meet her there with a recording. And anyway, she recognized me, and we hung out, and she's just totally awesome. I don't know.
She's a female Marine.
Yeah, 20 years.
Very cool.
Yeah. And she
They
makes.
call them WMs, by the way, women Marines.
She's got balls of steel, the best sense of humor. She makes you guys look emotionally sensitive. I'm just saying.
I am emotionally sensitive.
I know.
I am. I'm a Sagittarius.
I know. He got sensitive about his age.
And my weight. And these little things that are growing on my neck. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
that's a real go-getter. Everybody, look at his things.
Look at my
Our
skin
ratings are
tags.
going through the roof. It's
I got
skin tags going wild.
I got this little thing that zzz, out.
But you know
It's-
what?
It's,
It's good that you can joke about it.
it is.
We took a poll of
At night
people with
I don't
skin
joke.
tags.
There's a
9%.
lot of fetal position crying
Wait.
going on at my house.
Okay, enough about my days as a Democrat. Okay, we took a poll. 90% of people with skin tags won't be like, "Hey, look at my tags. Check this shit out, baby.
I'm
Check
one
it
of
out.
the-
I got my tags going on." That's
I'm
right.
one of the 10%. Chris, you got skin tags?
Now,
Or are
can
you
we get
telling
to
us to
this
move
story?
on the story?
Let's move on from your skin tags. As exciting a story as that is.
All right. He's
Jessie Jane Duff.
Yeah, he's holding up a thing. Move along.
That's enough of your various dermatitis.
Let's watch Jessie Jane Duff queuing up the next story.
All right, so that's you. This is you. The Biden administration allowing. Look, that's your story. It says
Yes,
your
I have to
name.
do something.
Yeah, you
I
have
thought the
to-
thing comes up.
Well, no, you have to. You got to press it, but we can't do that.
we
Remember?
can't do that.
No, we can't watch video.
Oh, you can do it. Just
Oh, we'd have to be quiet during the video.
Okay, and
It's
she's
fun.
my friend. She's like not gonna,
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessie Jane Duff,
Well, we don't have
retired
any volume.
United States Marine Corps
Well, there you go,
Gunnery
Jessie Jane Duff,
Sergeant
ladies
and
and
ambassador for America First
She's
Is the
fantastic.
volume
Policy
playing
Institute.
live?
Let's talk about
So we
what's
can't.
going
Okay,
on
so
in this country right now. Americans are pretty upset. And why is that? Every time they go to fuel up their car, they get sticker shock. It's rising rapidly at a rate that many of us cannot keep up with. In fact, our wages are not going up with the
It's
rate
like
of
a minute
inflation
long, and
that
it's
is at a
almost there.
40-year record high.
Well, I've
So
never
now
had
the
a man
pocketbooks are
perform
being
an act.
drained. And yet we have an administration
Yes,
right now
it's
that
1 minute
can't take
and 31
responsibility for
seconds.
any of it.
It might
They
be the
don't
most
want to
substantive,
admit that
dignified
they
part of the evening,
made America
but,
no longer energy independent.
that's
They
just
can't
Jane Duff.
admit that they impacted the
And you
supply
know what?
chain
All this
crisis
embrace,
that
too.
impacted us right
She's
before
brilliant.
Christmas. And now they blame
I don't know her
Russia for the
current status.
energy
I'm not sure she'd want me to
problems.
broadcast it if I
So
did
where's
know.
the real
Out of
Russia
respect for
collusion?
privacy, but
Seems to be
yeah,
right there
just
with
tell her I'm
the
interested.
Biden administration.
I'm sure she'll be watching the show,
Because
and I'll
they
say,
don't
check your
own
inbox,
any of
check
the
your inbox.
problems that our nation is
sexy
experiencing.
special
They have no
forces is
control over
interested.
their own economy. They have no
Don't
control
change
over
the
fuel
video.
prices. They have no control
Moments
over
like this, your
record rate
confidence just
inflation.
goes through the roof.
And they
It's
have
skin
absolutely
tags
no
going wild.
control
Yes.
over the border
Available
or
at these fine
national
stores.
Try to
security.
expose all this.
But I
and
don't
we
blame
could go.
Russia.
Okay,
I blame
so-
President Biden and his administration.
She's still going. Okay, that's it. So what do I do with this thing here?
Nothing.
Nothing. It's done.
Now you
stop
just
swinging around. Let me fix you.
Oh,
now you just tell the
Now
rest of the
proceed.
story.
he's gonna fix me.
You're fixed. Go.
I don't
All
know
right.
about fixed.
Well, you've
Are
had
you
how many
fixed?
kids? I take the Fifth Amendment privilege. So Jessie Jane Duff was talking about how the Biden administration is trying to blame Ukraine. And I think she was pointing out how gas and the price of oil had already gone through the roof, how President Biden had killed the Keystone Pipeline, how he had killed domestic energy production on all federal energy leases, how he had killed Alaskan production, how he had also approved Putin's pipeline when he first got in there.
Have you ever seen all the videos? Like there's a montage of videos from when he was on the campaign trail
Yep.
talking about doing
Saying
all
he would
this.
do this. Yep.
And then
He did it.
But every time I mention it, let's say on a social media platform,
Sure.
I get about 100 death threats saying it's not the president and it's not the administration.
That's a good point. And it's even worse than that in my understanding, because he's already the cause of part, not all, but part of the reason, because of curtailing domestic oil production. Okay?
Absolutely.
But on top of that, he blames Ukraine. Now here's the thing. Stevie Wonder could see that level of spinelessness and weakness is what encouraged Putin to go and invade Ukraine in the first place. So Biden's basically saying, it's not my fault, it's Putin's fault, it's Putin's fault. Well, if he had balls and had, if he didn't make Jimmy Carter look like John Wayne, Putin would have invaded Ukraine. So whenever you hear Biden say it's Putin's fault, he's basically admitting that he surrendered our national security and our foreign policy and our energy policy to Putin, because his weakness is what emboldened Putin's invasion in the first place.
Now,
Make that funny.
can you?
Be funny, Mr.
Do
Canadian.
it.
Be funny. I'll
me
pull
ask
some
you-
skin. Putin, if you go any further, I'm going to put some skin tags on
That's
you.
right. I'm going to pull my skin tag.
Don't do it.
Now, look, I've got to ask this question too.
Sure.
Does anybody out there really think Putin gives a rat's ass what Biden thinks?
Not at all.
I think he's a bully, and I think he's pretty okay with doing whatever he wants to do. And I hate to say this,
You're right.
I really do, because I'm not.
Right.
I'm
We'd
not.
rather he was strong
I'm
for the
an
country.
advocate for
Exactly.
war in any case. I've seen it. It's
Yeah.
no fun. But I can tell you this: we're back in the Ukraines, and the Ukrainians are not going to win this war.
Unfortunately, usually in war, the people that kill the most civilians win. Unfortunately, whether it was our civil war
right,
or what Putin's doing right now.
And here's the thing: is he is
Facts.
already live on Russian TV, and if you watch other newses from around the world, he is saying Poland's next. So that means he doesn't care about NATO. He's not even fazed by NATO. He's threatened to wipe Europe off the map, and now he's saying once we get through Ukraine, we're going into Poland.
Now, I would just point out that he does have an insurgency on his ass, like when Napoleon
Oh yeah,
was in
but
Spain.
wouldn't that be anywhere nowadays? So
But for him to have the strength militarily,
yeah,
okay,
Even if
it's
you
all
invaded
Putin.
Rhode Island, you'd have an insurgency. I
I'm
mean,
not
it'd be
saying-
6 guys with a trumpet, but you'd
Remember
stop.
when Biden did a quadruple flip-flop in regime change in front of all of our NATO allies a few
Mm-hmm.
weeks ago? He said he demanded that Putin be out of power. And then the Secretary of Defense and the White House press secretary came back the next day.
he didn't really
mean
mean
to say
that."
it. He didn't mean it. No, he didn't mean it. And then Biden said, yes, I did. And his own press secretary of defense said,
No, he didn't.
no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So,
Unlike the one now that says
Oh.
you shouldn't ask those questions.
Don't ask those questions.
Don't ask those questions. This is a press briefing.
it's not that Biden's weakness wouldn't embolden Putin to go further. I completely agree with you. But I'm saying, and you're a military guy, you know it's better than me. I'm just a student of it, okay? We studied it. We had to write papers on that
studied
stuff,
it.
man. We had to write a
We
whole bunch
didn't.
of
We
papers.
just showed up.
You did it, and I wrote papers on it.
In the
But
Georgia
here's-
National Guard, 3 weekends in a row, you get a ribbon. Go ahead.
I was 2 hours early on time. I'm very proud of myself. But the point is, militarily, it's all Putin could do, in my opinion, understanding his insurgency. They've lost at least 20 to 30,000 killed. They've lost at least 8 to 10 of their best generals, okay?
Yep.
For him to have the military strength, or in Ibanik's terminology, the strength, to go further into Poland, they have to be able to hold on to the sliver of what they got.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's
They've
going to
gotta
have an
survive and all that other
insurgency,
stuff, yeah.
whether he likes it or not, no matter how weak Biden is, the
Yeah.
people of Ukraine are fighters. He's going to have an insurgency that's going to make Ned Beatty in Deliverance look like a fun massage with a happy ending. Okay. Like a hog, boy, like a hog.
You know, I used to go camping over there. I know that doesn't sound right now. We shouldn't have brought it up maybe
That's
right
okay.
then. But that's Tallulah Gorge.
You're
And we
my
used to-
friend. If I'm with you,
Jim, if you're
I'm not
listening,
gonna
tell him.
Yeah.
We used to go camping up there.
Tallulah Falls.
Tallulah Falls, exactly.
a very scenic
Yeah,
area.
Yeah. So you got a
No,
pretty mild.
I hang out with special forces, so I don't end up like Ned Beatty because these guys can whoop ass.
Ironically enough, Jim was the older guy in our group, and he went in the military first. He went airborne and everything, and then the rest of us started trickling in. Hey, let's change stories
We were
now
trickling
because,
in. Wait a minute.
because war is kind of, like a downer.
It's a fun subject to talk about. No, it's not. No,
Right,
it's not.
so now, basically, I wanted to
Inflation.
comment on this, is that the false
Speaking
claims...
of doubters,
Inflation!
Yeah, hey.
Was that your story or mine?
My next story is the false claims that spread about Paul Pelosi's DUI.
Okay.
Okay, so look, I got a real problem, and it's kind of a strange one. I have a real problem with the extremely wealthy, okay, that say I didn't gain, if you're extremely, like Elon Musk, he's super, super rich, and he'll tell you how he got his money, okay? But see, Pelosi, they're worth 200+ million.
Insider trading alone.
And she'll say, it's not me, it's what my husband did.
Uh-huh.
He's been involved in like 8 of the top 10 IPOs, initial public offerings, for those who don't speak stock.
Oh, they know that. Our listeners are very sophisticated.
So
they know that.
he's been involved in like 8 of the top 10.
At least.
Okay,
That
now
we
of
know of.
course, she's been in politics her whole life at what, $175, maybe $200,000 a year.
She exempted herself from the Stock Act when I was there.
I
So
thought you were about to throw a guess at her age.
I don't think she's 200,000, but she could be.
She makes you look
Now,
young.
Last
I was looking at her, she's creeping up on
oh,
it.
my skin tag itches.
Oh, no, it's skin going wild. That'll scare Paul Pelosi out of prison.
Did you see last week a reporter yelled at her as she was leaving, right, about how safe we are as a country? And she turned around, she held out her hand like she was using the force on this guy, and she goes, "You're safe."
You're safe.
And then walked off the stage. Have you ever noticed that some of these politicians, whenever they start getting asked questions, they immediately leave the stage? Wouldn't it be great if it was like a cage match? In this corner, Nancy Pelosi, she can't leave till she answers all of our questions.
From parts unknown, weighing in at 25 pounds.
My husband's worth $200 million, and he could get a DUI and not get any arrest charges.
Should we point out that, according to the coverage on that, what little there was, he was allegedly taken into police custody at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
But the actual results of the BAC, blood alcohol content, was taken 8 hours later.
Yeah, I was about to say many hours later.
So
which
they wait
means
8 hours.
Well, here's also the thing, is that the way the news has reported this, false claims spread online about Paul Pelosi's DUI arrest. Okay, well, he was arrested, but no charges from the
They
DA.
waited 8 hours.
Nobody's charged him with a DUI.
I wonder
So
why.
he was arrested for a DUI, but until you're charged from the district attorney, he posted the $5,000 bail and he's out. Now, here's the thing, is the governor
not been
of
charged.
California, he jumped in there and he got involved.
Uh-oh.
Well, if there's nothing to report, if there's no reason for charges to be put upon Mr. Pelosi, why'd the governor have to get involved?
Yeah, if there's no there, then why would he intervene?
If there's no there, then why is he there?
And why would the police have to wait 8 hours to take his blood alcohol
Because
content?
I'm here to tell you, Scott,
Yes, sir.
if you and I left here tonight and we were drunk and we got arrested, I'm thinking our blood alcohol would be on a piece of paper probably within 30 minutes to an hour.
You're right, but let me tell you, from 20 years of inside observations, on the surface to normal civilians that haven't been inside that stuff, I agree with you, there's a double standard, they shouldn't get away with it. But in the long run, the quote unquote normal people like you and me, or our listeners, or people that aren't in the middle of that with all the super connections, we're actually better off, okay? For the same reason my grandmother whooped my ass since I was 3 years old. Because the further away you get from consequences, the more you become Paris Hilton. And the closer you are to someone holding you accountable, whether it's you holding me, or a police officer, or my parents.
Well, obviously he felt like there wouldn't be any problem driving home drunk and wrecking his car.
Why did
right?
the Kennedys end up getting in crashes?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when I've had too many to drink, I don't drive. Period. Cut and dry, end of statement. I don't even risk it.
We are older and more mature now, so I don't want to be a hypocrite.
God, how old is Paul Pelosi? I think he's like
70-something?
95,000 years
in
old.
In a drag race?
He
While
was-
Pelosi was in a different drag race?
Well, here's
Two
the thing:
different
is he
drag races.
wrecked the car,
Yeah.
and he wrecked a fence and all. So there's property damage. There was car damage. Now, how about the insurance company for whatever car he was driving? What are they going to say? Oh, Mr. Pelosi, no problem. We're not going to charge you. Because let me tell you something. I have USAA, and I have forever. If I get in an accident, I'm willing to bet USAA is going to drop me, especially if it's a DUI.
Right.
Cut and dry. All right.
Well, like you said, it's the political
He's
pressure
82.
that's
He's
put on
82.
them.
She's 82, right? Was 82 too, right?
Something like that.
So that's 164
Wasn't
in that
he
house.
literally in a drag race?
Man, that's a lot of effort.
And Pelosi was attending a different drag race during Pride Week? There's 2 different drag races.
I think, yeah, I was about to say. All right, so
Yeah,
what do you think?
they were born a month apart.
Really?
He was mid-April, she was mid-March.
I wonder if they had the same
1940.
parents.
I wonder
Okay.
why the AP says it's a false
Probably
claim.
shouldn't go, because it was all over the internet that they had dropped the charges. Look, I suckered it
Oh,
too.
I gotcha.
I suckered into it too because I saw that they had dropped the charges. AOA or A.
AOC.
OAL.
Say it 3 times fast.
No, what is it? The news.
AOC. OAN.
OAN.
What American News?
They had reported that they dropped the charges and they had to retract that
Can
statement.
you say OAN 3 times fast?
No.
Okay.
I say OAN 3 times real fast. Say OA and 3 times real fast. Oh, you meant just the
What's the
loan.
next story?
Yeah, just the tip, sir. Just
So
the
we
tip.
landed on,
Mr.
it's
Giant.
not that charges were dropped.
There were never any
Charges
charges
were never
done.
filed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, a district
Wow.
attorney has that ability to make a decision because a lot of district attorneys get blamed, one, for being backed by Soros.
Yes.
A huge amount in our country nowadays,
Yes.
which is kind of scary. The next
Yes.
thing is that there are district attorneys that will only select cases they know they can win because they try to get their metrics in the right direction for reelection.
I just had a scary observation, speaking to your point. Is the district attorney not necessarily filing charges because it's a district attorney where they make me look more interested in weight loss than these district attorneys have in holding
Just
people
so everybody
accountable?
knows, this dude runs
Yeah.
7 miles when he goes to the gym.
Just elliptical, Mike, just elliptical.
Yeah, it's
Or
still 7
is it
miles.
because the political pressure that undoubtedly, privately, has got to have been exerted?
I think the
'Cause you know
governor.
the real
I think the
intel.
governor jumped in there and said, "Look, I'm the governor. You're a DA. If you want to have a job after tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're not going to file any
The
charges."
political
against
pressure from the
Democrats."
politicians is
And
enormous.
let's admit, that's not fair, guys.
No.
That's not. When we start to separate the middle class into an upper middle class and a lower middle class, we've got some major issues coming up in this country.
But I still say we're better off in the long run. The more accountability we have means we're less likely to end up like him
I agree. And you know what? There's a reason why I don't drink and drive.
because you're no longer 20s. Well, that was my reason. Sorry.
I was stoned back then.
Oh,
That's
my
a couple-
goodness.
I could drive stoned every day. of
If
the
you
week.
think he has a personality now, you should have known Mike in the wild years. He made
Yeah.
me look like a Mormon at a damn temperance convention.
No, I honestly, there's a couple of things. One, I don't want to hurt anybody else, right?
thanks.
I wouldn't hate to get in an accident and hurt somebody.
Sure.
Two, the ramification. A DUI now, you're looking at like 10 grand. I mean,
The consequences,
just
see?
the start. I'm not talking about jail time. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about your bail. I'm talking about your attorney. I'm talking about fees, probation, any of that stuff. And I've never had a DUI.
No, you're right.
So if I win, I could be, nolo contendo.
Because
and
we're
all
not
that
exempt from
stuff.
consequences
Yeah.
like Paul Pelosi.
But still, I mean, it goes on your record. Now, I guess if you're a millennium and you're coming across the border, you can get a job doing anything. But now, an older, white guy with no tattoos that likes women, I can't get a job somewhere.
Oh, but those skin tags
Those
will come
skin
through in a
tags,
pinch.
them
You
skin
can get
tags.
any job.
Why do you have to say skin tags and
Because
pinch at the same
you're
time?
fat,
How do you know
old
they
white
get
guy with
caught in my
skin tags.
shirt?
The
Have you
sky's
had
the
a skin
limit.
tag caught in your shirt?
It's skin tags
It's like
gone
when your
wild.
toenail gets caught in
No.
the carpet fur.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
Inflation. Where was the
Inflation.
CNBC article?
All right, so
Mr. Giant.
our
where-
producer Chris Lowry from
Where's the inflation
Brushfire
article?
Mind mornings on Facebook. Brushfire Mind from 0 dark early to 30 minutes later. Jesus.
The Brushfire Mind, whose
do you ever-
platform's allowing us
do you
to
ever
broadcast
catch a
right
show?
now.
You
Yeah,
ever catch a show?
I caught it half an hour ago. It was
Yeah,
pretty
but you
funny.
were in Costa Rica.
No, it was El Salvador.
Same thing.
And what I was doing is not important for public disclosures, but it was a private, straight pride celebration.
He does a live show every morning.
He
That
does?
early.
It's just
We can't pull
you
off
guys are
one 30-minute
overachievers.
show every 3 weeks.
Hey,
he does it every morning.
I'm just glad that I showed up 2 hours early. I'm very proud of
Jesus
myself.
Christ.
Where's that inflation story, Mr. the Giant?
I don't know. It jumped back over to false claims spread online.
We got to pull up the inflation story because we got some very good jokes.
I think he is right now.
Okay, inflation.
Maybe not. But
Maybe
at least
not.
we're going through Yahoo
No,
News.
this is the link you sent me.
Okay,
how
this
bad
is it.
inflation?
Yes,
Is that the story?
That's it. There's an actual boring story from CNBC that talks about the consumer price index and everything else, but that's all right. Hey, we got somebody watching.
Uh-oh.
Royster, Madsen,
Hey,
We got a
man.
bunch
Mr.
of
the
people
Giant.
watching.
Come on, Mr.
Yeah, there
Giant.
you go. I printed it for you because it looks boring as shit on the monitor.
You did.
Wow.
So, a couple inflation jokes.
Wow.
Hey, Mike,
Hey,
guess what?
what?
I wanted to get the Blue Book value of my car, and they asked me if the gas tank was full or empty. Inflation. Say, by the way, say how bad is inflation?
How bad is that? How bad is it?
It's so bad, Mike, that Angelina Jolie is actually considering adopting a child from America.
Ouch.
Inflation is so bad.
She's scary hot.
Well, I met her father once, but that's a whole other thing. It was at Walter Reed.
I think he wants us to
by
sit close.
He wants us closer.
He either wants
It
us,
is-
look,
he either
it's
wants us
Pride
close
Week.
or he wants us to cut the show.
Wait a
So-
minute.
All right,
Get
now
a
give
little
a little
closer.
kiss.
Wait a minute. Now hold on.
Oh, I'll lick your whole face.
No, wait a minute. Oh my goodness.
Benji, your tastes like
Just because you're
caramel.
special forces, I didn't know you were that special, sailor. Oh my goodness.
Sailor.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So you're acting a bit
Airman.
Navy, corpsman, trying to be. No.
War college
How
graduate.
bad? That's right. I wrote those papers while you were out there in the field.
Democrat!
Hey, I was. I'm a recovering Democrat. Full disclosure.
All right.
Yeah.
Full
But so,
disclosure.
how bad is
Is there a
inflation?
12-step program for that?
Well, I think I'm on number 10 with you fellas, but how bad is inflation? It's so bad.
It's well, no, that's not how you ask the question. You're supposed to say, how bad is, no, I'm supposed
How
to say,
bad is it?
how bad is it?
It's so bad that CEOs are now playing miniature golf.
That's funny. That's
Ask
good.
me, how bad is inflation?
How bad is inflation,
It's
Scott?
so bad that ExxonMobil had to lay off 25 congressmen, and I found a Mormon with only one wife. Oh, shout out to my friend. You know who you are, Mr. Flake.
That's right. Oh, look, our
I miss you, buddy.
demographics in Utah went down.
No, shout out to my buddy Austin. He married very young.
I can check that.
Have you ever gone to Amish.com? No, okay, never mind.
I'm jealous of the
You've
Amish
got
now.
a joke here. McDonald's is selling the quarter ouncer.
Oh, very good, very good.
You remember back in the mid-90s, I think it was,
When they tried to do the
yeah,
one third.
I don't remember who the competitor was, but one of McDonald's competitors
Wendy's.
tried to, it wasn't Wendy's.
Where's
They
the
tried to
beef?
sell a 1/3 pound
Yeah.
burger.
And people said,
And people didn't buy it because they thought the quarter
yeah,
pound was
yeah.
bigger.
I believe, look, the stuff I do on a daily basis, sometimes I explain
That's
stuff to
what you
people.
get for dating midgets.
That's,
Whoa.
you know what?
I'm not going to comment on these gentlemen and their big quarter pounders.
I got a
but
great joke.
inflation is so
Oh, I'm
bad.
dying.
Go
I'm
ahead.
dying. Can I do a joke?
Do it.
Can I do a joke?
Do it.
Never do 69 with a midget.
Oh, jeez, why? There
Those
goes
little
the
feet will hit you right
Oh, Mike, there goes the family hour. You're killing me.
Their driver's license, the picture, it's their whole body.
Ask me how
Okay.
bad is inflation.
How bad is inflation?
Inflation
Scott?
is so bad, Mike, that a truckload of Americans were actually caught sneaking into Mexico. That's right.
No, that's not a joke, that's a headline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when
Hey,
I
look, as much as I deal with the VA, I'm going to fly to Mexico, cross the border, and get better medical care.
true story that people wouldn't believe it unless they saw it. When you go to Mexico, unlike our country, they do actually enforce their immigration laws
Yes,
on
yeah,
Americans.
yeah, absolutely.
I swear to God, at the San Ysidro crossing into Mexico, there is a wall that's bigger than my ego, a 50-foot tall wall with steel reinforced. I can't make this stuff up. And you have to actually show ID and answer, which is fine. That's their sovereign territory.
A friend of mine who's a helicopter pilot
right.
flew down there to pick up a helicopter. So he flew on regular airlines. They checked his passport.
Yep.
They checked his COVID. When he went to pick up the helicopter to fly it back to the United States, the people selling the helicopter checked his passport,
Yep.
checked his COVID. He had to get another COVID test because it had to be within like 24 or 48 hours.
Yep.
They don't play around.
Yep.
I don't understand. What could possibly look? Two things. I'm going
Yeah.
to bring it up. Damn it!
Go ahead,
I'm
bro.
just going to do it. One, I don't
ahead.
understand what our government thinks they're going to gain by letting all of these people come into our country illegally. Two, I don't understand what leaving dead people on the voter rolls is going to do. There is no discussion that you could possibly have. In golf, when I was like 250 yards away on my second shot, there was a joke we used to always say, I ain't got nothing in the bag that can hit it that far. Ain't got nothing in the bag. And there's nothing I think anyone could tell me about keeping dead people on voter rolls or about letting people freely walk into our country and taking away the infrastructure of benefits.
There's something I could answer that first part.
Well, I know what you're going to say.
What am I
Votes
gonna
for
say?
the left side.
But it's an actual quote, and I'm not a rat, so I can't give his name specifically.
Okay, what's the quote?
But one of the senior highest people for the Democratic Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, currently, his exact words to me, and I quote,
And his initials are Chuck.
no, I'm not
Okay.
going to rat the
No, no,
person.
no, no, I'm
Schumer would never have the integrity or the honesty to make this admission, okay? This person's telling me off the record, so I'm not going to rat him out. But he's top of the food chain, very important cat. He literally said to me, Scotty, this is the exact word, if Hispanics in general and illegal aliens specifically were more likely to vote Republican, we would have built a GD wall 10 years ago, and we would make Trump look like the ACLU. Now that's a quote from a top
The only
staffer
the
under
only
the
thing that I can
Democrat
think
leader.
of to me that makes sense
Uh-huh.
is that once you start receiving entitlements, okay, they could hold you hostage. and say, if you don't keep voting for us,
You
you're
lose your
going to
benefits.
lose these
Like
entitlements.
Social Security,
Yeah,
Medicare,
all that stuff.
welfare, healthcare. It's almost like they want you to be dependent upon the
So
entitlements.
what could possibly be, and there are numerous Secretary of States who generally oversee state-ran elections, okay? What could possibly be the explanation for still having dead folks, dead citizens
You
on the
know
voter
that. It's the
registration?
Chicago election where the dead vote multiple times. On my way here, I passed entire cemeteries full of Biden voters. Yes, multiple
I-
cemeteries.
I
did.
okay. Another one that confuses me, and then we'll move on to the next story.
Okay.
You know what else confuses me is how the hell do drugs get into prisons?
Methanol. I can know that drugs in prison.
How do
runs.
drugs get into prisons?
Drones.
Drone. See, drone. That's a good idea.
Human
And I'm a
nature.
Yeah,
drone-
just fly right over the wall.
Yeah,
and
I'm a
drop
I'm a drone guy. Now you know that
No, but
one
it's
show
always
that's on
somebody
TV.
on the inside.
They put it in a tennis ball and they hit it over. Which when I saw it, I went, God, that's brilliant.
I
The
don't
other
wanna-
thing is guards, right?
I don't want to brag about my prison experience, but as long as you got money, you can
Just
bribe
a
somebody
tip
on the
in
inside.
French.
You know.
Okay, but here's the
Don't
thing.
do toi.
Okay, so that means I'm glad you brought that
Yes.
up because in prison, the convicts have a very limited exposure to outside employees.
Always somebody going to be on the tape.
Okay,
Always somebody
you
going to
see what I'm saying? They're going to have very limited. It's either going to be a guard, maybe a counselor, maybe most of the food is you know. they're-
How did my Italians get the
So-
best food when they were in prison back in the day, right?
So
they lived like kings.
How is this happening? Why don't they just seal it off completely?
Why do we seal up the border completely?
Why don't we seal off jails completely? If you go to jail, you have no contact, no physical touch contact with anybody outside of.
Wait, no conjugals?
No.
Ah.
No. What? What's? Oh,
Don't
you're
you want to
talking
give
about
people an incentive?
squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. No. So you see what I'm saying is, if we did that, would it cut off drugs?
But hold on,
Just saying.
your premise is saying that people can't necessarily be corrupted. As long as someone's willing to take a bribe, someone's always going to be willing to smuggle that in there.
You basically sign away your rights, just like you do when you're in
I
the
agree
military.
with you.
If you're in the military and you all of a sudden are driving a Ferrari, buddy, it's only they will clamp down on your secret
There's a
clearance
public
and stuff.
policy where I completely agree with you, and then I'm just respectfully pointing out in the real world situation, there's always going to be a guard or someone in authority,
Like
someone
her.
that's willing to take a bribe.
I would really.
How do you
make it
think I
tough.
got this fat? Okay, when I'm in prison, I got.
Golden Corral buffets. I've been there with you, cottage
was the
cheese
happiest
boy.
person.
I've been there with you, lunchbox.
How big are those cottage cheese piles? Are they Himalayan mountains?
Yes, they are. They got little Nepalese people climbing up the ladder. All right,
Like
so,
the Price is Right from the '80s, with the little climbers going up the mountain.
all right, so real quick, let's knock out a few little quick
Oh,
stories.
yes, well-
Jack Del Rio fined $100,000 for his comments about the Capitol riot.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God! You know what? Have you watched any of this Capitol riot hearings? And then you know what the man said yesterday, I believe. No charges are going to come from this. So what are we doing? Other than trying to prove that Trump had something to do with it so we can try to impeach a guy that hasn't been in office for 2 years so that he can't run for office again.
It's not like they
That
want to
is-
distract attention from inflation, from the highest oil prices and the highest inflation
What
since
is
Jimmy
the-
Carter.
You travel around a lot more than I do. What's the most you pay for gas?
It depends. Am I Italian stealing it, or am I
No,
actually paying
what's
for it?
supposed to pay for gas?
You're
Oh,
redheaded.
sure.
You can't be a
Most I've ever paid for
$4.49.
gas was $10.
Now,
$4.49.
in the United States or abroad?
Yeah, it was on top of a mountain in California in
Okay.
2009.
Now, my brother-in-law said it's like $8.08 a gallon right now in Northern California.
By the way, if Julie's watching, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm leaning into Mike. I'm on camera. I'm
Julie, our fluffer.
Yes, Julie's awesome.
Yeah, Julie, our fluffer she's camping.
I just keep scratching my leg because I'm getting
Yeah.
bit up by bugs.
Yeah,
But that was
that's
before
what
I
it
got
is.
here, and it's no reflection on my enthusiasm for you, Mike. Because Julie sees this, she's going to say, "You're moving away. You're moving away
So,
from him."
I know we're running out of time, and I don't know if anyone's had the opportunity to see the Jack Del Rio video. The guy literally doesn't say
He didn't say anything. wrong.
anything.
No.
He doesn't
Pointed
say
out
it.
6 months of our cities were on fire, and there was no accountability,
He
and it was
just
encouraged.
says,
That's right.
Let's be honest. Let's look. Now you know what the actual, and I'm not even going to give him the credit of saying his name, but the coach for the Commanders
Yeah.
is the one who's behind all that. And tell you the honest goodness truth, if anybody should be disgusted, embarrassed, or disheveled,
He wrote that
or
wussy
kicked
PR statement.
That
That was ridiculous. He doesn't even believe his own statement. He probably didn't even write it.
So you know what? I can't.
Before
I
we
can't
go, we
get
got to
over that.
contrast the treatment of Jack Del Rio with the treatment of how the entire media is ignoring the guy that tried to take out Justice Kavanaugh. and there's a federal law on the books
Yeah.
that specifically
Absolutely.
says you cannot protest in front of the Supreme Court Justice homes.
Yeah.
And the Biden administration, Attorney
Right.
General Garland are intentionally not enforcing that law.
Yeah.
There's another law in the book, Scott, that says you can't shoot them either, but that hasn't stopped them from
Yeah,
trying.
or
Right.
let's see that protest start happening in front of Nancy Pelosi's
But
mansion.
they're moving heaven and earth.
National Guard.
They'll
with-
mention
they'll be
January
flying
6th for the
jets
next
over
10
her house.
lifetimes, but when someone's actually trying to attack and kill a member of our Supreme Court,
Yeah.
the same people who are saying the sanctity of democracy, the sanctity of our constitutional system, I have more interest in weight loss than the Biden administration has in enforcing the law to protect our Supreme Court justices.
Absolutely.
And Stevie
And so,
Wonder can
hey,
see that.
Jack Del Rio, I hope Mr. Del Rio.
He never should have apologized. Mistake number one.
I wouldn't have apologized. And two, buddy, all you got to do is go on a social media platform. You know, personal hygiene, right?
Hey, I've showered twice today.
You have to stand in the water.
Jack Del Rio doesn't have these bites.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Even if he quit, I guarantee it there'd be a GoFundMe, and they'd give him 10 times that to pay that stupid fine. I wouldn't. You know what? Sometimes you got to stand your ground. That man did not say anything wrong. He really
And he should have apologized.
Yeah,
And speaking
he
to your
should've.
point, on the very day that the guy was taken into custody for trying to murder Justice Kavanaugh, the very same day Biden goes on Jimmy Kimmel. If we still have it, we can pull it up. If we're
Oh,
out of
that
time,
is
we're
a
done.
horrible interview.
Biden goes on Kimmel and he jokes about taking out your political opposition. He jokes about putting the
Absolutely.
opposition in prison.
Oh, that
On the same
show-
day that the guy was arrested for trying to murder Justice Kavanaugh.
the
If
president
that's
house
tolerance,
plant is
I'm-
actually going, and then it's like the wind comes out of his sail.
he's joking about
Completely.
arresting his political opposition, about taking out his political opposition and putting him in jail on the same day that that nut was arrested for trying to murder Justice Kavanaugh. Now, if that's tolerance, I'm on a hunger strike at the Golden Corral with the Donner family reunion, and you.
Dang it, man! He brought up the Dahmers.
Not the Dahmers, the Donners.
Who's the Donners?
The Donner family?
I thought you meant the Dahmers, the guy that ate people.
No, the Donner family reunion.
Who's Donner?
Well, we'll get to that next show. We're going to leave our viewers
got a
in suspense.
cliffhanger.
It's the
Got a
Donner family
cliffhanger.
reunion live from the Golden Corral.
The only other thing I was going to bring up, I don't know if you have any other stories that you want to talk about. The only thing I was going to bring up was anybody traveling through Atlanta these days.
Yeah, I'm still alive. It's a miracle.
Yeah, I would wear body armor.
It's a miracle.
My Atlanta.
Yes.
I've lived here forever, other than my military time abroad. Oh my God! Every single solitary day, there are shootings in Atlanta.
It's making Chicago look like the Amish.
It's insane. There was
I
a
know.
shooting right up the street from here
shit.
at a Kroger. Kroger.
Hashtag celebrate cultural suicide.
Hashtag doo-doo water. Okay, I just
Hashtag-
wanted to throw that out there because I want to put it out
It's
there.
so bad in Atlanta. Whenever I get home from the set, my car automatically starts playing "I'm Still Standing" from Elton John. Okay,
Hey,
that's
I
how
tell you
bad
what,
it is in Atlanta, brother.
any other stories you want to cover this week?
No, we got to leave in suspense for the Donner Family Union.
I am 100%
We're going to be back next week at 7 o'clock.
We're going to be back.
and we're
by
going to have
God,
less technology
by God,
problems.
As Scott is my witness, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we're going to go live, and then we're going to run our intro, and then right when it gets to the end of it,
Cheers.
it's going to be me and you live
Cheers,
on
brother.
the air.
We had a
And
great set.
We're going to do it. We're
Next
gonna do
Tuesday,
it.
7 o'clock.
Third time's the charm. Third time in 62
Happy
weeks.
Pride Week, bitches. Once, twice, 3 times a lady.
Hey, if you're up in the morning, Chris, what time is your show on?
07:30 Eastern Standard Time.
07:30 Eastern Standard Time.
That's GMT
Facebook,
-4. Zulu.
the Brush Fire Mind, and you're on YouTube as well.
I'm
You're-
on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble,
Pacifists,
D-Live,
TikTok,
Quakers, Rebels.
Twitch,
Twitch,
um,
Vimeo,
everywhere else.
And
everywhere
and
else.
anybody
He's
who's
on
watching
3
this show-
Korean
I'm
channels.
everywhere.
Anybody who's watching the
Error.
show is watching it through his Brushfire Mind platform.
Right,
So
yeah,
anybody
tonight,
watching
yeah,
the
we'll
show
get
has got to
that-
check
we'll get that
out
one
his
figured out.
Brushfire Mind platform.
Before we go, I wanted to say that I watched Squid Games a couple months back, and then now I'm watching another one where they're all turning into zombies. And
Welcome to being on John Kerry's campaign.
yeah, so it's one of those things where, man, some incredible CGI when they convert into a zombie. But The funny thing is even when they're zombies, they still run the same way. It's pretty okay. So yeah, I didn't want to go there.
I'm not going to tease you.
I
We're
had
going to have
go
a
there.
dignified exit.
We're going to have a
military mind.
dignified exit.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank
We'll see
you very
next
much
Tuesday.
for tuning in. Please
Same bad
like,
channel, same bad
share.
time. Yes.
You know, we've got a new sponsor coming up next week.
big
We can
sponsor.
actually put in a actual show next week.
If
Start
we can get the
live.
technology to work, it's going to take off.
Please,
We
if
just
you
gotta get
gentlemen are
technology.
watching this week, don't base it on this way.
Oh, don't beg, damn it.
Yeah. Ow, my skin tags.
Oh,
so I just wanted to leave with that. You have anything else you'd like
We
to
had a
add,
great
Scott?
show,
Scott,
everybody. Thanks to
Scott
your skin
Lachette
tags.
is a Senate comedian. Are you
If
performing
anybody-
anywhere?
I don't want to
Any-
brag about my private
No,
life.
no.
but I
You
do
doing any
just-
live shows?
We
or-
just did one. How'd that work out for you? No, if anybody gets insomnia, senatecomedian.com. I'm available for bookings when I'm not traveling the world and doing this awesome show. And when I'm not on the set, I'm available for voiceovers and commercials and comedy appearances. So if you get insomnia, senatecomedian.com. It'll put you right to sleep.
Outstanding. And I'm doing a podcast these days called The World According to Military Mike. It's kind of like a veteran's view on stuff. I just finished up a 5-part series on better mornings. And we're starting a 10-part series this week on the things to do or the things not to do to stop stealing away your success.
No math involved, right?
No, God,
No
I
math.
don't do math.
Okay, make sure.
Man, fractions suck, dude. Why do we have to have fractions? You can just divide the top number by the bottom number and get a percentage, and that just works for me. Don't stare at me like that.
I like decimals.
He likes decimals.
Like 556 and 762.
5,
You know we've had a good show. When I finally stopped talking, it's been a full hour, ladies and gentlemen. Very good. We'll see you next Tuesday at 7
I
p.m.
can do this all night.
We need to have like a, you know, like in the dating game they went like this and.
Does our
Yeah.
producer have a thing to
Does-
take us out,
Do we have an outro?
Mr. the Giant?
We're gonna go out on grenades.
You don't need 30 rounds to protect yourself.
You want us alive when they eat us.
Put that double-barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts.
Which were then thrown at officers. Demonstrators also hurled fireworks.
Telling you Molotov cocktails work. Anytime I had a problem and I threw a Molotov cocktail, boom, right away. I had a different problem.
He makes a strong case.
Oh, it sure would be nice if we had some grenades, don't you think?
Modern problems require modern solutions.